Hey guys, it's Jonathan Riker here. A few people on the Reddit community in the Rust Console section of things have asked about the solo bass that I like to play with. I'm definitely not an expert in Rust. I got like 500 hours maybe, and I always play as a solo and I play fairly simply, and usually my main goal is to be able to make it, 8 to 10 days in one bass if I'm lucky, before I need another one. And so let's just say this is a very starter bass. It's like your very first time in to a new wipe, you can get all of this together in under a couple hours for sure. Hopefully much less than a couple hours, but depends on how your luck goes, right? But just so you have a visual of how this schematic works, I'm gonna walk you through it. So my first suggestion is to just build a little single here. I'm a pretty slow builder, so you have to bear with me. But I would just start with a box, and right here we're gonna do a double doorway and throw up a metal door. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna throw in my TC down here. Now I know there's a few ways to do this part, but I just like it here, so you can choose. But I'm gonna go here, and we're gonna leave room in here for a triangle half shelf later. And of course you could upgrade to whatever. I try to make the whole base look like stone from the outside and eventually metal on the inside, so that it looks a little bit more noob on the outside. So I often start with just enough space to be able to get back out and do some farming, which I'm not going to do right now, but so it would look kind of like this, and then right here I would throw a bench and start working on blueprints or whatever. But that's what you can start with, and then at least you have a little bit of a home. But this setup caters to then building out the rest of the design. I first started by memorizing just the floor layout of this whole base. So I'm going to go through that now, for example. So I usually start with these 3 triangles here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So I kind of memorize that shape and this shape. Okay, and then 2 boxes, 2 squares. I'm very slow, once again, just to let you know. 1 more triangle in here. And then even that is a pretty good start. I've left off, for example, not all the honeycombs that are on the picture, but if I added those, for example, we'd have a honeycomb here and here, and here, and 1 off the back, 1 here. But honestly, that's like later. I would start without the honeycombs, just so that, unless you really are fast with your farming, you might just want to get the base up first and then honeycomb it. So let me take those out of here. This is sort of the basic layout. So I would memorize this. There it is. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then the 2 squares here. And then 1 more triangle. And what you could do if you're worried about safety is just like really throw that down quick and then just wall all of it except for right here, where you can see on the schematic that's going to be our main entrance for now with this base. So just so I don't forget about that, I'll just show you what I mean here. I'm going to throw up my first door, my airlock here. So this would be an airlock, but let's say you're just like, you're frantically wanting to just get safe, then I would start with just wall it all up like so. But let's roof it up. Right, and then throw your door on here, of course, and then you're all locked up. Obviously, you want to also not be using this material. You want to upgrade. I'll quickly run around and do that. Personally, a good goal is like if you have your little mini, like your little cube base here first, I would try to fill this chest here with like 10k wood, 10k stone, and then you're ready to move on to what I've built here. And you can do all of that in a really short time, in my experience. So let's just stay wood for now, but you'd want it to be stone. I'm gonna make my door go inward. Okay, so in theory then, you at least have a safe, I mean, in a way you even have an airlock. You know, if you run it in, you come in here and then head into safety. But that is the floor sort of layout without all of the honeycombs that you see in the picture. And then we're gonna move on. Let's build out our shelf in here. Okay, so by this point, it's like, okay, we don't have to keep these items in here because we're gonna have a bigger base. So let me pick them up for now. So you're gonna do a half wall here, because in order to build a half shelf in here, it needs to connect over here. So I'm gonna do a half wall. I'm gonna roof that. Okay, that's just temporary, that there, because now I can add a triangle half shelf right here. All right. And then what I'm gonna do for now is I'm going to delete this. Of course, don't forget with your doorways, double doorways, you want to upgrade them too. Upgrade them to stone. I'm just going to stay wood for now. You could remove this door now that we're safe and locked up, right? Yeah, so once you have your half shelf here, throw down a few storage containers. We want to get this like right against the wall. Get it nice and straight. And then there we go. That time I didn't rush so much, so I have room. Usually do one here, something like that, or that up on top. Yeah, something like that. So that's a good start. I keep all my general stuff in here. Materials like stone and wood in here. And in front low part, I usually keep anything I'm going to take to the recycler, and then up here, keep my weapons. You know, you could decide. We are going to throw down some more doorways. I would just do them all at once so you don't get confused. So we're going to do a double door here, double door here, and here. So it's kind of a triangle shape of doors there. And then we're going to throw down one more here. However, I recommend waiting on that one just a moment. I'll tell you why after. And then here we'll throw down an airlock. Again, upgrade all your door frames so they don't just get broken. But I'm not too worried about that. For this video anyway. I'm going to throw down this here. Okay, and we have them going inward so that if somebody chased you in, they can't get in. See, they can't get through the door behind you. Okay, then we're going to wall up right here. Okay, and that's pretty much all our regular walls we're going to do. And then we're going to make use of this space and this space for some furnaces until you have some better options. But the reason we didn't do a double doorway here is because we want to first get this half shelf going here. So let's go, sometimes if I put the door frame here, it doesn't let me do this half shelf, so I'm just going to do a half wall like I did before. I'm going to roof that. I'm going to take out the bottom. There you go, nice little shelf like that. And then I'm going to still make it kind of like honeycomb, where I don't want anybody to be able to break through those walls and then just walk right through. So I'm going to throw down this window here. Now in there, personally, I like electric furnaces now, and so I can fit 6 electric furnaces in there. But if you're not doing electric furnaces, then before you put this wall in, we're going to go back to basically the basics of what my diagram shows. Before you put this wall in, you're going to want to actually place your individual furnaces. So let me do that instead for now, okay? throw down this one here first. Now some people like to jump up on that and place the other two like this and then like this. I don't seem to have any trouble getting it to fit by just standing right here doing it. So let's see. I'm gonna go like that. I'm gonna half wall it, or sorry, window it. And then bonus, I even will, if I'm offline, like if I'm sleeping and not playing, I don't know why I just threw my hammer, I'll even throw on one of these and then just take it off the next time I come in, so that if someone was to break through the walls or the roof there, they would still have some frustration required to get through here, right? So I'll do that for now, just for fun, why not? Like so. Obviously they can't stay like that when you're online working, because you need to be able to get those furnaces cooking. Okay, so you got those furnaces in there. Now, if you notice on the diagram at the top, there is a half-high shelf for all of these boxes to fit on. Okay, it says furnace, window, and storage shelf, 3 more boxes. So to get a half shelf here, like a half, sort of a half roof, we need to go outside. I'm gonna go out here, and right here is that wall. You can see this is the square we run, right? So I'm gonna throw down a little foundation here. There we go. Okay, and then we're gonna do a half, and then we're gonna do a floor on it, like that, if I can get it to go. So now when we go inside, we can connect to that. So right now we should be able to do a nice roof like that. Upgrade that. And now we've got all this storage space, plus access to the furnaces still. I can still use the furnaces when I'm not sleeping and I remove my window like this. I can access all 3 furnaces, and I can have some storage here. So let's do, for example, I'll keep it simple for now. You know, you could do one at the back like this, and you could do one here. I could still come in, access my furnaces there if you wanted, as long as you still have a way to access the furnaces. So if I go like this, you can't really get in there to get at the furnaces, so I don't tend to do that unless I'm just desperate for space, right? But you could throw down a little one there and still get away with it. Let's say you wanted a little, maybe a box for some food items, and then another one, you know, something like that. There's lots of options, right? Now I can still get at my furnaces, get at my food, and or whatever's in here, right? And then same with the top. And remember, it's easier to jump up to these if you're crouch. So you crouch down, go sideways. I like to go sideways, so you better jump up. So you could go box, box, box here, whatever you want to do. Then we're gonna go back to what I said about the schematic there. We're gonna double doorway, and then I would throw on a double door, like this, okay? Then the rest of it is mostly doors to cause frustration. But I'll throw one more thing in here. I usually go into this corner and add a locker, or I throw in a refrigerator in there, depends on my mood. And then what I'm gonna do here is window that in. And I'm an idiot, but I'll just do that again. There we go. So now let's say once we get all our other airlocks and doors in, let's say I got killed and I had my bag right here, you know, spawn right in, jump up, grab my loadout, get back into action. And now that we've filled the space here, I like to throw down a workbench. Let's say whatever workbench you have, but if I have my tier 3 bench here, it is kind of nice actually, because if they break that wall and then the workbench is there, they still have some work to do. So it's like another frustration causer, right? And of course you can always throw in another small box underneath here just for some more odds and ends, right? Tuck that in there. And then just to finish up the diagram here, we could be cooking in here as well. Go. Somebody breaks through the roof. They still got to get through this wall. And then let's just go to town on the doors. And there we go. So Obviously, would be a great goal to be able to get to your garage door status as soon as possible, but you can do this with metal doors like I did. And you come in your airlock and then close that up, and then you just open your whole base up and work on whatever you're gonna work on. But like I said, it gets crowded with doors, right? And so when you're really ready for business, we're gonna ditch all these doors here. And as you can see on the diagram, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lines that represent our 5 garage doors. So I'm gonna throw one here. I haven't experimented too much with which way they're facing, but I'm not too worried about it for now. And there we have it. So you come through your airlock, somebody frantically chasing you, and then just come on in, open every garage door. And then you got all this room to work, access all your stuff, check your furnaces, get them cooking, right? If you need to get at your TC, you gotta get in a little closer like that. And obviously you want everything to be stone. And then what I start to do is everything that you cannot see from the outside, I try to upgrade that to metal pretty quickly. I'm gonna leave all these open for now, but normally I would close them all. Close 5 doors, and I would actually just wire up a little bit of automation here to just close the doors with a little bit more ease, right? But for now, let's go out and finish the top of the base. I forgot to do it earlier, but when making that wall from earlier, I would have come back out and deleted this, because if you wait too long, like you can see here, then you can't delete it, right? So I'm just gonna break it for now. Okay, so the rest of what we want to do, as well as honeycombing, is double layer the roof. So I'm going to show you that real quick here. We need a way up there, so I'm going to do just anything works to get up there, but I'm going to do this and put a little half right here and use that to be able to jump up to the roof right now. So we're basically duplicating everything up here. Oh. Now don't forget, when you're actually doing this on a real server, you're going to want to make sure, if you didn't bring enough materials up, make sure you leave yourself a way to get back up here. But I'm just kind of walking you through it a bit quicker. Obviously you'll want to make everything stone, but I'll just do wood for now. There we go. And usually what I do in here is just create some more frustration for whoever might be trying to raid me by putting in some ramps. I guess I would usually do it before I built this. Right, throw down a ramp. You know, build it up first. And that way when somebody decides to try and break from the top down through your base, they'll have a little bit more work to do. A little bit, at least they're going to waste some materials, even if they are going to get into your base, right? What is that in here? And then we're just going to cover this all up. There we have it. And then another deterrent, like another method of frustration, is to just quickly throw up like a box here, or here. But either way, I'm gonna go like this. And then from the outside, that looks like a step up from the inside of the base. So I would just put a ladder on the side for myself, because I usually then would throw just like a research table or a repair bench in here just for fun. But from up in the hills, it might look like, oh, okay, we're gonna break out this door, and then they get in and realize it's not the way in, and then they've already wasted some rockets. Then they might try to go down here and realize there's 2 layers, go down again, and then realize there's a pile of garage doors. So just like a good deterrent, right? I'm gonna just take this out of here. After that, I would just go through the diagram once more and take a look, but you could pretty much just honeycomb anywhere possible. And of course, that just means we're gonna go like this, but basically anywhere we can to cause more for them to have to guess or break through, right? Like so. And then I'm not gonna do them all right this second. Here. There. And there we go. And obviously, if you actually did this all into stone, it's a lot better option because it'll close up all of this, right? You want to get all that closed and looking all correct, and make sure that your walls are not inside out like that, soft side. So yeah, if you take that, add all those honeycombs, double layer from there, you end up with quite a lot of stuff for someone to want to waste their time and get into. And obviously, if somebody really wants to get into your base, they're going to do it. But if you can waste more of their materials in the process, then at least you feel like you got a bit of something out of it. And then what I do is I just save up another, 17k stone and wood, and go build another one of these in a couple other places on the map. And then as soon as I'm offline in 7 or 8 days, if I last that long, then I've got another place with a backup. So that's my solo kind of startup, and that's just, many people will point out the flaws in this base, but the numbers speak for themselves. I've had many wipes where I lasted, even 15 to 20 days with the first base I made, doing it this way, and hopefully deterring enemies basically by making it look simple enough from the outside that they think it's not going to be very much loot inside. And also just not letting them see the metal from the outside, right? Because once it's all layered in, if I metal this, and this, and this, they're not going to be able to see that from the outside because of all the honeycombs. So it'll still look like Noob Town from the outside. And there you have it. That is my solo starter base. I'm on PlayStation 5. My name's Professor Brotown on here. And yeah, I usually play solo, and I don't seem to have trouble getting through a wipe without too many frustrations. I always build near the beach so that I've got boat access. I can go out scrapping on the ocean. And that's it. I have no business making Rust videos because of my inexperience, but this is a lot of fun. So let me know how you do with this base. I'd love to see your version of it. Maybe a fresh upgrade to my schematics if you want. And if I didn't explain anything else about it, feel free to let me know. I would say one last thing maybe that I do to cause even more frustration is just add endless airlocks. So I would just basically, whenever I have enough materials, because it doesn't take much, I'd throw another one. And then another one, and then another one, and then sometimes what I do is on my honeycomb, I'll throw down a false door here. So they might break that door and then come in and realize they haven't gotten anywhere. They just hit another wall, right? So sometimes it helps to just leave them guessing a bit. And you might find that they move along to the next base that's easier to break into without a million metal doors and garage doors in it. So anyway, thanks for watching.